So
in
we've
this
seen
third
how to create
video,
a
we looked
basic
very
pivot
briefly
table.
at pivot charts.
You
Now,
saw
we've seen
that the
already
default
that we
was
have
created
some
in the
basic
new sheet,
data
and we're
with
just going to rename
transactions
that
on it.
sheet to make it something
And we've
more
seen how we
meaningful.
can generate a pivot
So
table.
we call this
And we create the
first
pivot table
pivot.
on a new sheet, and here's our pivot table. And when you select anywhere in the pivot table, you see that the pivot table tools.
So
analysis
what we've
and
got
design
here is the
comes up.
basic pivot table. that
And you have
created,
different options when you click
which
on
I
that.
showed you in the
And
first
we
video.
have looked so far
Notice
at
that when you
slicers.
click on a pivot
And one of the
table,
interesting ones to look at
up
though
here
is
on the
pivot
menu bar,
charts.
we now have the pivot table.
Nothing terribly
tools.
difficult about it. In fact,
And there
it's
are
very,
quite a
very
lot of
similar
options
to
here. Standard chart.
one of the
which you've
options
all
is
known,
before.
that you don't have.
But
to
when you
accept
click on the
amendment
pivot
gives
chart,
by default.
basically
So
what
we've
comes
called
up
this
is this
option to insert a chart, and you've got the standard kind of selection that you can make. So
Says
you can have a
pivot.
column chart, which is the
But the
default.
more important one
line
is
chart,
the
pie chart,
analysis
bar
tool.
chart, and so on.
Pivot table
So what you want
allows
to do
have a
depends
thing
on the
called
data and what way you want to
slices.
see the data.
And basically,
So in this
slices
case,
is
if I
a
select
way
the column
of
chart,
filtering the data
to give you
select
more
cluster
meaningful
column, you can
results.
see that the data is
So,
represented.
if I
by
say, for
showing me
example,
each company,
insert slicer,
A, B,
then what
C,
happens
K,
is
L, M, and so
the headings
forth,
once
and in
more
different
come up.
colours,
So these
the
are
different
all the
sales
headings that we saw on the
persons
original,
who have sold to that company,
sheet
and
the
the
data
data on
money
it.
that they've sold. which
And
is
say we
shown
want
on
to
the
slice
left-hand
this
side of the
data
graph.
by salesperson.
So what I can do,
Obviously,
I
you
can
can
click on
play
the
with this
salesperson
yourselves and see
field.
what kind of different
Press OK.
charts you can
And
create.
I get
So if I
this
select that one
box
there, you
coming
see
up,
that the
which is
chart
a
looks somewhat
slicer for
different.
salesperson.
And sometimes
And the reason it's coming up is because it allows me to analyze the data,
which one
by
is
the
most suitable for you.
individual
So
salespeople.
if, for example, I go into the bar chart,
table.
you
So
can see
say
there are
I
different
only
options
want
to
to
see
show
Gina's
Gina's
data,
data, that the
then I
chart
just click on
Gina.
Gina.
So if I say this is the one that I want,
And now the data
all I do is just say OK.
is
And the
analysed
chart is
only for Gina.
shown there. in the
Similarly,
same
say I want
spreadsheet.
to see Alison
as the pivot table.
click on,
And
and
again,
again,
I want to see
you
just
can
like
do
that.
anything with this chart.
If
that
I
you
want
can
to
do
clear
in
the
normal
slicer,
charting
just
options.
click on that little
That's
X
just
there,
a
and
very
all the
brief
data
introduction
comes
to
back
pivot
again.
charts.
Thank you.
Now, this is really just another way of showing you how you can filter data. So you may remember from looking at the data options and filtering that you can filter data using the filter option. You also have those options on the pivot table. So if I click on this column labels here and I click down, you'll see it. The column labels has all the names of all the salespeople on it. So if I want to see Carla's data, I can click on Carla, press OK, and now I only see the data for Carla. So it works in exactly the same way as the slicer option works. The slicer option is probably easier to do. So I can go back to Carla and I can select all. Sorry, I had to select the wrong thing. Select company. Press OK. I can clear that filter by clicking on this filtering option here and select all. That gives me back all the data again. So if you want to get rid of this, you just select it and hit the delete button, and that slicer is gone. Let's put in another slicer just to illustrate it. So I put in a slicer, and this time I'll select a slicer for customer. Press OK. And now we have the slicer for customer, and I only want to see data for XZY company. So I click on XZY company, and indeed that's the data that I see and nothing else. So that's a very brief introduction to slicers. Thank you.